Nobody's really
There we
actually
go.
thinking
Oh,
about what he actually said. They
welcome everyone to the Moving Chicanes podcast. My name's Garth Griswold. I'll be your host tonight for episode 2. Little disclaimer starting up front, I am nowhere qualified to do this. I am figuring it out as we go, but we are going to have a good night. We're going to talk to our Bob Henry's Xfinity Series champion from 2024, Stewart Harding Walker. He is with us tonight, and we will also be joined by the old man Donut Joe Wright. So let me unmute them and see if they're done talking yet, and
oh
bring them in
man.
here. All right, fellas, you all hear me? Go ahead.
Yep,
Yeah,
we
we
hear
got
you.
you.
Make sure chat. Everybody here talking.
Yes.
Yes.
I hope so. Kind of
Can
figuring
you
this
hear
out as we
yourself?
go. Oh yeah, maybe.
Okay. Maybe.
I'm here talking.
Maybe.
So all right, so start off here for the night. Let's talk about 2025 coming at us quick, right? We were just talking about that before we went live here. It's going to sneak
Yeah.
up on us. Um, Probably more than most of us, more than others. I definitely know I'm not ready for a new season, but what do you think, Joe?
Man, I'm ready. We've been doing off-season testing regularly. Uh, I'm actually coming to you live from Monza. We're doing some testing out here. We're switching to Toyota, so I'm trying to get as many miles under my belt as I can. The season is literally two car payments away if you're renting or leasing your race car,
Two car payments.
and or
Two
if you're
car
if
payments.
you're
Careful
if you got
putting
a
miles
mortgage.
on that thing, Joe. The head gasket might not last till Daytona.
What I can swap it out. I've also read the rules and regulations. We can swap out head gaskets. There's no limit to head gaskets. We can send those to the moon.
Well, you're not driving a Subaru. You don't have to worry about that.
you know.
Stuart, what about you?
So,
How is the old Tipton Harding? Is it Harding Walker or is it just Harding?
Tipton Harding Motorsports.
Let's just clear the air here, all right? You had Stewart Harding Walker in your name for a majority of last season, and now I'm kind of seeing the Walker disappearing, and now it's just going to the Stewart Harding. Is that
Uh,
a rebrand going on for you, or
well, it was never supposed to be all three, but I never changed it on iRacing, so it kind of stuck for a while. And I'm kind of trying to get rid of it all across the board
okay?
for
So
reasons.
from now, just Stewart Harding is what he
Yes,
will
sir.
be known as. Okay.
I mean, you can call me either way. I don't care too much.
What kind of news do you have coming over there from what used to be Uber Motorsports and just recently rebranded to Tipton Harding Motorsports?
I mean, we've already announced our driver lineup. We have Hayden Higginbotham and Pete Morales joining us. We've been prepping our cars. You're going to see those shortly. We've been working with the lovely Altone Designs to get all of our cars spiffed up for the 500. And yeah, other than that, we've been working on getting a setup deal set up for all of our drivers, and there's not been much. We've just been kind of waiting for the season to finally get started.
Okay, okay. Oh, Mr. Cody Leach just joined us. Cody, you want to say hi?
Hello, everybody.
All right. So Stuart, what's going on with your guys? You guys gonna have a truck series this year? Any truck teams participating, or are you guys just in the Cup Xfinity?
No, we didn't bother going with any trucks. We thought about getting a charter, but we decided we didn't want. We wanted quality over quantity with our drivers, and I feel the six we've got, the four Cup charters, the two Xfinity guys, it's going to work out a lot better, in my opinion, than having a bunch of loose strings to deal with. We've got a really good lineup of the four Cup drivers that I mentioned, and then Justin Bell and Zach Saunders in the Xfinity cars. I mean, that's a really solid lineup to really keep us competitive, in my opinion. I don't want. That was one of the things I didn't want was extra drivers just because I wanted to have the best capable drivers that we could get, and that's it.
All right. Um, so looking into last year, of the Cup Series. You participated in the Cup Series. Really had a pretty satisfying year for the most part. And then were you doing it when we were in the Gen 6 and then whatever we went to before the Xfinity?
Uh,
I forgot.
Gen 4, you mean?
Gen 4.
Yep, I did a decent bit of the Gen 4 season. That's what brought me here.
Oh, goodness. So you were just
Yeah.
lucky that the Xfinity series had a fresh reset and you were able to.
Well, the way that everything worked out was I joined the league because I had been wanting to do some Gen 4 racing, and Caleb said, "Hey, the league that we're running in is starting Gen 4." So that's how I ended up in this server, and then I ran some of those races, and I was pretty happy with that. And then my schedule worked out to where I could run Cup, and I started running Cup, and that's how we ended up here.
Is that what's your preferred car that you like to race the most? Is it the Gen 4?
Um, Gen 4 is where I had the most success, but I mean, I don't really care too much which car I'm running. I feel like the Gen 4 I had the most success, but I mean, I've picked the Cup car because I feel like that's the best of the choices we have for 2025. I'm consistent with the Xfinity car, but I'm not going to go win races as we saw.
Yes.
I'm like a really consistent third to fourth place, but anything other than that, like I just couldn't seem to put my cards in the right slots to win.
We will get into that shortly, my friend. Very, very shortly. Well, Cody, Joe, any of you guys got any insight on what WRL's planning for next year? Cup Series wise, Xfinity Series wide. If you guys have a shameless plug that you need a new driver for something, now it's time to make it. Are you guys full? What's going on over there?
Pretty sure we're full to
Cody,
the brim, right?
Oh,
Cody,
oh man.
you got it.
How's my audio?
Oh,
Good.
it's good audio. It's good audio. Answer the question.
Okay. Yeah, so we're all set. Made some good pickups, I feel. Kept the same nucleus, as the scientific people like to say. We kept a good nucleus, same drivers. Did a little bit of moving around. But three cars in Cup. Believe we got two in Xfinity. I believe we're going to be running three in trucks. But I got to do some housekeeping on that. But I'm pretty sure that's what it's looking like. We're always going to be open to taking ARCA drivers. Um, and kind of keeping them in our wheelhouse. If we see somebody we like, we'll get them in the ARCA. But um, we're pretty much set. WRLs, it's all set. Hopefully, we can find some ARCA drivers once the season gets rolling. New people come in. We can get some people to add to the development program. I did have a question for Stu, though.
Hit him with it.
How was it like not knowing anybody in the league that first? Because I guess you did you run Gen 4 first?
Yeah, so my first race was the Daytona 500 for the Gen 4 cars. And I on and off ran the Gen 4, and then I made my debut at the first Darlington race for the Cup Series.
Okay, awesome. So how was that like? He's I know a lot of people will hop in and like high R guys will hop in and be like, oh, it's a bunch of 2300, they maybe a couple of 4Ks here and there, mixed in, but um, no, they come in and think it's like a cakewalk, and they realize like, oh, this is scary. This is a danger zone. And
What was it like for you
were
when
you
you
like,
joined?
okay, this
Well,
is good?
that's what he's trying to ask for the most part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I never like to go in thinking that I'm gonna go blow everybody's doors off. That's not the right, mindset to bring into something. I came in as, I'm the new guy. I'm not gonna go rip everyone's doors off the first week. I'm just gonna try and survive. And I came into Darlington and I had no setup. I had my guy whip up a quick paint scheme and I was just like, okay, let's see what happens. And I had I hit the wall in qualifying, started at the back, and it was just kind of how long can you survive in this race? Because Darlington's no easy track to really start with the Gen 7. I'd never really done a lot of, even official races with it. So it was a different car for me and a whole new group of guys, and just it was so many new things that it was really how I'm just going to sit in the back and kind of go through the motions. And if I end up with a good finish, I end up with a good finish. If I end up in the wall 20 laps down, I end up in the wall 20 laps down. I didn't really I would never want to come into a race with that kind of mindset because it just everyone, you start ruffling feathers the moment you get here, no one's going to like you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I understand that.
How did you and Uber meet? Uberman, Caleb Tipton.
So we all started racing on Forza Motorsport 7. There was a good NASCAR community on that game because it had, the Gen 6 cars and it had a couple oval tracks. So we'd all kind of started in this other group that ran like Monte Carlos around all the tracks. And then we shifted into, I started running my own league and they started running in there. And then that deal all kind of started going sideways and they went off to do their own thing. And then we just kind of drifted apart until last season. I was starting to get back into the iRacing stuff after taking a good break from it. And that's what led me here.
All right. Well, you guys have any other thoughts for 2025 before we get back into last season and Stewart's run at winning the Bob Henry's championship?
I'm just excited, man. I'm excited to get back in the car. That's one thing I've been itching for the last few weeks. I've just been really itching for the clash to come already. I want to start off the season way better than I ended it. I ended last season with so many DNFs in Cup. I just want a clean slate to try and make my mark.
What what week this season here coming up? What week do you think you and Michael Deitch are actually going to fight? Do you think that's going to
Oh,
happen
I've been
or?
asking him we should get
oh.
WWE and have a stream a fight, but he wasn't very interested in that. I don't know. I think with him doing mostly Xfinity, we won't have much interaction.
Yeah.
Too
Well,
bad. I thought that would have been a great pay-per-view.
I think it's great,
Oh man.
great
We
content,
would with that.
and I think it's definitely a story that's going to write itself this season.
I
So,
still want I need the recordings from that. I'd love to hear that rant again.
oh, I have
Mm.
it somewhere on my old PC. I know for sure.
Oh, you got to send me
Oh
that
man.
because I'd love to go through that recording.
He needs the transcripts.
Yeah, I do. That's some radioactive right there.
I
I don't
think
think
I
I've ever
posted that
gotten that
somewhere.
mad.
I may have posted
Oh.
that in admin chat. I'll have to go back and look for that, see if I did. But it was hilarious. Either way.
I don't think
Yeah.
anyone's ever threatened to fight me after a race on iRacing. uh,
Racing
I
brings
loved
out the
every
best in
second of it. I'm
people.
telling you.
clearly.
Oh, sure does. We
I've
had
had
our
my
run in
moments.
last year for a little bit. I think it was more of a
Um,
misunderstanding, but
I think
it was
well, it started with Chicago when I fucked up. I don't think we never really were mad at each other. We kind of just we kept running into each other, and then we kind of go back and forth on who we thought was at fault, and then we'd be like, "Oh, watch the video," and then we'd make up
yeah.
after that, and then run into each other next week. But I mean, I think most of us getting into each other was just hard racing. I remember Chicago and Richmond were the two times I remember getting into each other, and I mean, it was just tight racing, or with the Chicago start, that was just me being dumb and not cycling my brake pedal. But
Yeah.
it was just hard racing. It was never, me being a dick or you being a dick. We were just racing hard and shit happens.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, exactly how I feel. It
Now,
happens.
early in
You
the
can't
season, some
control it.
people had some ignorant thought processes when some of their car positioning.
I wasn't there for that,
Be
thankfully.
thankful. Be
All
thankful.
right.
I do have a question though about next season. Are the playoffs? Are you looking at that?
No.
Is that like a goal?
Oh.
Are you talking to all of us or just?
Just you?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Um, it could go either way. I think a round of 16 is inevitable, depending on. I mean, it depends on if the charters work as intended. If everybody shows up constantly, then it'll be way harder than it was. I
Yep.
feel like
Hmm.
with last season, I think I could have really easily walked into a playoffs berth because with how consistent I was until I fell apart at the end, I think I could have done it. Um, I feel like if I make it into the playoffs, I'll at least make round of 12. Definitely, I want to be in the round of 16. That's my goal. If I can get any further than that, that's just going to be a bonus. But I think my skill range will be round of 12, and if I get lucky, round of 8, kind of like what Vince did. I don't think I don't think I have the experience or the talent to really challenge for a championship and cup yet. I'd have to get a lot of luck.
Fair statement.
I could also flunk out and not get anywhere in the playoffs. I mean, it's just with how this car is, it's such a wild card. I don't know it well enough to where I could confidently say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna finish 12th in the standings," out in the second round. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like I I showed my hand last season. I could be leading 1 second and then be dead in the grass the next. Like there's no telling what I might do.
You're a pretty good road course racer driver, though, aren't you?
Yeah, I was surprised by that, to be honest. I wasn't sure how well I was going to do. I mean, Chicago kind of gave me a taste, and then we went to the Glen, and I was really, really good. I was surprised by that. So maybe if I can get a little better, I could challenge Thomas, but he's so good at everything we do. Like, I don't know how I could get that much faster to where I could keep up with Thomas at a road course.
Yeah, he makes me sick.
But he does make mistakes. If he makes a mistake, I'm going to be there to pounce.
Yeah, my goal for next year, not really the goal, my plan in place going to the road courses next season is just to let Nick hit him in the bumper again, send him in the wall, and that's about the only chance I have is ever passing him. So
Oh
I mean,
man.
road courses are just survival because so many guys will write off their cars. You've just got to pick them off one by one and not wreck your own car. I mean, that was, I think, my main problem with Chicago was I got too greedy. And I could have gotten a really good finish, but I threw it away getting too greedy at the end because I thought I might have a chance at Wolf when he went into pit.
I was just trying to stay
Yeah, and
true to
then you're
that.
overthinking it instead of being like, let me just constantly run these same lap
Yeah,
times.
I was
I think, yeah,
so with the way that the start went when I fucked up, I was so wound up by the end. I was just like itching for it that I was like, oh my god, I could get a podium, I could get a win here, even if something goes my way. And then I missed a corner, hit the wall, wrecked
yep,
again. I think I fucked up twice in one lap and destroyed my car, and then I just gave up after that.
yep, yep. I know how you feel. I kind of feel like that with um, I would say my run at Watkins Glen. I was like, what am I doing up here? And I knew everybody kind of had faster times than me, but I think I made enough mistakes throughout the year to be like, okay, this is my only opportunity to like continue make a run in the playoffs. Let me just keep running these same lap times and not push because I'm not catching Saunders or Thomas unless something grave, a big grave mistake happens. Let me just lock in, keep running these same lap times and get
Yeah, my issue was timing. Timing for a lot of things. That's all.
points. And I think, like you said, like going to next, yeah, yeah,
I was just trying to stay out of the Saunders and Wolf's way when they come around to lap me every time. So that was my biggest worry I had. And I was just
Oh yeah.
survival of the fittest, the old Griswold strategy. Just survive to the end, and hopefully I'm in a top 10.
Da,
So,
da, da, da.
all right,
Not a bad strategy.
let's move on. Next topic of discussion. Guess let's just go on into um, your Bob Henry's Xfinity Series champion run. All right. Let's see. We ran how many races in Bob Henry? 10? 9?
We started at Watkins Glen and we went all the way to the end. So
9 starts. Yep. I got the
nine
stats pulled up
starts.
here.
Okay,
Nine
there we go.
starts, 2 stage wins, 7 top 5s, 8 top 10s,
Mm.
and gave you 391 total points, which edged out Tyler Tyler, I'm sorry if I butchered your last name, Bellinger, by 1 point to win
Mm.
the Bob Henry's Xfinity Series inaugural season. Now, starting for next year, Bob Henry's partnership went away, and luckily for us, though, Mr. Michael Conti decided that he would like to sponsor our Xfinity Series. It'll be the Team Conti Sim Performance Dash Series next season. So you do not plan on running in it, so you will not have a chance to be a repeat champion, go
Champion.
back to back. Yeah, that don't have a
Nope.
chance to defend your title. So let's get your thoughts. I don't know if you're familiar with who's running it next season, but who are your favorites to win here coming up in 2025?
I'm going with my guy, Zach Saunders. You know, he was one of the most consistent. He won 3 races, I believe, of the 9. Like he
He,
was just every race he attended, he was
yeah,
going to win or came oh so close, and just something went, didn't go his way, and he slipped up a little bit.
raced in 6 races, 6 top 5s, 4
Yeah,
stage
exactly.
wins. So he
I
was
think
a dominant force.
I think he should have won at least 5 of them, but he had a couple mess ups. Um, but yeah, he's definitely would be my pick. Him and Justin are both going to be strong. I know Justin's been putting in the work over the off season to get better with the Xfinity car, and I'm hoping he can try and be a bit more of that wild card that can sneak in and try and rob the grave like I did.
Yeah, I'm not real familiar with all the Xfinity drivers yet this season. Kind of been taking a break like everyone else, so
Bit
hopefully,
of a new mix. It's
yeah,
not quite
it
like before.
It is. There's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a real fun and challenging series. Very competitive. I think.
It was,
Just looking at the
you
people that
know,
are signed up for it.
it was very competitive. I quite enjoyed all the races. Like even though if we had some smaller car counts, some of the races, I was always fighting somebody. There was never a moment where I was just sitting by myself for a long time. I was always, you know, doing pit strategy or trying to think of how to make my car better. It was really competitive for the field size. So I'm excited to see how it evolves now that it'll be, full season with a proper, bunch of drivers in it. Hopefully we'll be consistent with the franchise charter system involved.
I agree. Garth, you still there?
Everyone dead?
Ah, muted. Gosh darn mute button. All right,
Yeah.
repeat what I said. So I don't know if you're watching the stream or not, but I got a nice picture of you on there on top of your race
Ooh,
car.
lovely.
I don't know. I'm gonna assume you won that race. I'm gonna hope the way you're standing on that car. Maybe you're yelling. Maybe you're
Um.
yelling at the flag man. I'm not 100% sure.
Here, let me look at the stream.
But let me tell everyone
Oh
where
yeah.
you race at.
Well, that was the old track I raced at. That's a little track called Agassiz Speedway, and yes, that was my second win. That was in 2023. Yeah, that was a crazy finish. I had to do a pass in the grass from third to first as the leaders wrecked in front of me. It was great.
Outstanding.
Ooh, that reminds me
Yeah, it
of
was.
the duels last season there. Of I think it was Mr. Pierce who ran through the grass for the win and got pushed down there, and then he just kept it in the grass. They had to have that big review. I don't know if y'all remember that or not, but
No, well, I
something.
wasn't here.
So how long have you been racing up there? Let's talk about that for a little bit.
So I started racing full stock cars in 2022 when I finished that car right there. And I've raced at 2 tracks. I started with Agassi. I ran there for 2 seasons, and then last season I moved to the NASCAR sanctioned track of Evergreen Speedway in Washington, which is why I said to Joe's girlfriend earlier that I have a NASCAR license in my pocket. What do you got?
Facts.
How'd you get into racing up there? Is it a family thing, or are you the first in your family
Yeah,
to do it, or
third generation driver.
third generation?
Uh,
So nothing new for you
yeah,
guys.
no, my grandfather started. He started in like the '60s at a little local track, and then he moved on to dirt racing, and then moved all the way up to the fourth tier series before ARCA was fourth tier. There was the Northwest, Southwest, Northeast, and Southeast tours, which were kind of like the way late models, like super late models, are now. Before they became super late models, they were, just the next in line for NASCAR, and he ended up winning the '99 championship for that, and then tried doing a truck start, but that didn't end up working out.
Hmm, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And so, did you guys buy that car or build it all from scratch? How'd you all come across
My
that?
car.
Yep.
So that car used to be a 1981 Camaro Berlinetta that was fully complete, sitting on a hill in a place called Penticton, which is a place in Canada none of you will ever hear of again. And we dragged it down the hill on a big bulldozer and shoved it in the trailer. And I spent 2 years cutting it apart, gutting it, joining the frame together, putting in the roll cage, building the body and everything to make that car. It's a completely custom car I built by hand. And yeah, it got 300, got 400 horsepower now. It had like 350 when it started. It's got 400 horsepower, 4-speed transmission, 9-inch rear end for any of you that are interested in the specs of the car.
So if let's say I was interested in getting into racing at my local track, what tips? If you could give me one tip, what would it be for getting
Be
going?
nice to everybody. Even if someone is telling you the stupidest thing you've ever heard, listen to what they're saying because every bit of information is good information. That's what I'd always say. Go walk around, talk to all of your competitors. If you make friendships, you might learn a thing or two. You might like I always walk around and I try to educate people, on how they can make their car go faster in a nice way, not a dickish way. It's just if you have a question, I'm happy to answer.
All right, that's solid advice, I'd say.
That'd be my tip. Was always try and get whatever you can because you might learn something that'll help you a lot.
You guys got any questions for him?
No, I'm good. I'm anxious to just. I'm more of a visual learner, so I'm anxious to get behind him and just see how he approaches each track and go from there.
Joe, you should have heard about his grandpa back in 1999 racing, right?
And no,
He
I was
probably was
back.
there when he was born.
No, I was over in Europe. I was over practicing my road coursing in Europe.
Ah, there we go. Yeah.
I had hit you with the old joke while we had you on here, but
Of course,
it's
like I
good.
said, I'm used to it.
It's good. Um, so let's go back into talking about last season. What do you think your keys were to being able to win the championship there at the end? Do you think it was just being there every week racing? You think was there a certain race last season that made you like be like, all right, I got a chance to win this, like kind of put you in the position to win it, or
It was close the whole way through. It got closer and closer as we snuck up, but I think there was a few races that really turned the tide. It started at Vegas between Jacob Fifield and Tyler Bellinger. They started a bit of a rivalry where I believe Bellinger got loose, which caused Fifield to overreact and crash his car and utterly destroyed it. He ended up DNFing out of that race, which then caused at the next race they had another bit of a dispute, which caused one of them to crash, which got me back into the fight after my Talladega incidents that took me way behind. And it just those I think those two races, Las Vegas and Homestead, really tightened it up. And then from there it was just, you know, week in, week out, who could get more stage points, get a better finish at the end to really capitalize. I mean, as you saw, it was right down to the wire with 1 point.
yeah, I remember watching the stream that night. I was like,
Like,
oh, who got it? Who got it? And it's so tough for us, at our level that we are to have those points being updated in real time. So it was a matter of holding our breath and waiting for Corey to do the stats and post them, and then
Yeah.
Boom, Stewart.
Well, imagine being me sitting there like trying to do the math in my head, like how many
Yeah.
cars do I have to pass to keep it in? Because it was a, I mean, it's a three-way title fight. Like you're thinking about two other guys, like doing the math in your head with what the gaps were. I knew that Tyler came in ahead of me. Jacob came in about 9 points behind, but he got a bunch of stage points and he was ahead. So it's like trying to do math of stage points plus finish equal this, and it's tricky. Like I was really struggling. I wasn't sure if I was ahead, if I was one ahead or one behind going into that last lap, and I was just hoping I was the right way and that uh, Tyler couldn't get to the guy in front of him.
Mhm. What was your favorite race there last season in the Xfinity? Which one do you like the most? Which tracks do you prefer to? On top of that,
Um,
it
I
looks
mean,
like you're a pretty good short track driver. Um,
well, short track racing comes natural when you've been doing it in multiple disciplines. It seems like I'm best at the road courses and the short tracks, so I'd definitely say my favorites are where I'm fast. And I think I think my favorite race was probably Martinsville, either Martinsville or Phoenix, because those were two races I felt really good with. Obviously, Phoenix probably wins just because I got to do burnouts for finally after 9 tries.
mhm.
I'd definitely say that was my favorite, even with all the drama and controversy.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Do you are you a big super speedway fan? Like, are you excited for Daytona? Do you fear Daytona? Do you wish Daytona didn't exist? Like, where do you
It's
sit on that monster?
it's it's tricky because I came from, like I was saying, how me and all the Uber guys met. We started on Forza Motorsport 7, so all of my super speedway experience is on a slightly more arcadey game on a controller. So I'm not comfortable with super speedway racing on this game yet. I'm not at that level that all most people are where they can comfortably make moves. I'm just kind of holding the wheel and hoping that I make it through. Like I'm just going to Daytona. I'm excited because it's the first, points race of the season, but I'm not. I just want to get through Daytona and Atlanta and move on to some tracks that I know that I can be good at because neither super speedway treated me well last season.
Yeah. Talking about controller and stuff, what kind of setup do you have there that you do iRacing on? You
So I have. It's a Thrustmaster. I believe it's a Thrustmaster T300 wheel, stock pedals that came with it, and then this is the original setup that I'd made when I first got everything. I had no money left over after I made the PC and got the wheel. So I went to Walmart and I got this folding desk that was thin enough for the wheel to clamp to. So it's pretty rickety and shaky, but it works. But I've got it sat up in front of this massive TV, and yeah, that's what I got going. It's not perfect. I don't have force feedback. None of it works for some reason, but I'm fast with it, so I guess it's good enough.
all right? Well, that'll do. I mean, anything that makes you turn left and sometimes turn right. I keep forgetting that NASCAR is like really kind of moving towards the road courses. I always just want to make the left hand jokes, and and mostly here in NASCAR now, I'm like you're turning right and left just as much as you are doing those ovals. Almost it feels like. So,
Well, the warm up laps you're turning right,
oh yeah.
swinging that thing
Some
around,
of
trying to
us,
get some heat.
Uh-huh.
some of us.
What are you, the Iceman?
No, yeah, kind of. I've ever since I've started sim racing, I've never swerved back and forth to heat up the tires.
Yeah, never got a top 20 either, but we don't talk about that one.
That's a bold-faced line, you know it.
Just saying,
Uh,
Joe. You were saying that
oh,
you wanted to follow my tracks to see how I tackle. I think you've seen it all season.
oh man,
A
it's
little bit,
getting spicy. I
but
like it.
but last time I checked, standings has me in
Hey,
16th, and where'd you
because
finish?
Mr.
Ah,
Oh,
yeah. But if I started from Daytona all the way to the end, I'd bet money I would have been a hell of a lot closer.
Yeah,
And that's
probably.
why we
But at the
have
same time,
2025 to figure it out right
Exactly.
there.
Right.
yeah,
I
we're
got a
about to.
question. Are you How are you gonna save your tires this year? Because I have watched you. You're quick. You're quick. And I love it. But after about 15, 20 laps, I find myself creeping back up towards you.
It depends on the track. I don't know if you noticed. Some tracks I was good at keeping the tire life, and others I just couldn't figure out. You're absolutely right. Homestead was a bad one. I was really quick at Homestead, and then I'd get up to like podium area, and then I'd fall all the way back. And I don't understand some of the tracks very well. Like that's why I don't like the mile and a halfs a lot. Is I just don't. I can't figure a lot of them out for some reason. I can't seem to find a balance where I'm not burning up the car with that, like, because I want to be quick. I want to be, trying to keep towards the top 10, but I can't seem to find a way to keep a balance of speed and tires to where I'm not, way out back. So you're 100% right. I can't save tires for the life of me at those tracks, but I'm working on it. I'm been doing some practice to try and get better with that. It's not my strong suit yet, especially when you come from a game where you're not tire saving ever. We were always going 100%. So it's just trying to get into that mindset of you don't have to go always. You sometimes got to, lean back a little bit and just let the race come to you.
Understand? Yeah, I got it. I would say for any, I mean, I'm not the master of it. I failed a couple times. I mean, I lost my only shot at winning at Texas by burning up my stuff. But um, I learned in officials kind of, all right, I'm gonna run I'm gonna save. I'm just send them back and see how many people I pick off, and then in the next race I run, I'll be like, okay, now let me just push these tires and see how bad the fall off is. After that one, then I kind of see where I'm leveling out at from the data, and then it's like, okay, let me find that happy medium of both for the next couple, two or three officials I run,
Yeah,
um,
100%.
and see kind of where I fare, because I do end up running late, so I get in that mixed top split.
Hmm.
So I'm wolf
Um,
characters, things like that. So
yeah,
I can kind of see how I fare off of them, and if I can kind of keep pace, or I'm, 8 sec. I mean, I'm saying 8 seconds, but especially coming into the race, you never know what's going to happen. As long as I'm one of the fastest guys out there in that split, I'm like, some adjustments when it's time for our race, which is longer and things tend to happen a little bit more.
yeah. One of my strategies that I employ is what I would do is because I didn't know so many of the tracks. Was buying tracks every week because I was just doing whatever I wanted to with the Gen 7 initially. So the way I'd always go about it was I'd use the first stage, I'd go as hard as I could, and I'd see where the tires would give up. And then the second stage, I would adjust, I'd pit, I'd get my tires, and then I'd go easier and I'd try to find a middle ground where I could gain all those spots back, end up in the top 15, top 10, but still have tires to where I don't fall back, and then third stage learn from that and keep going and just keep learning and evolving throughout the race because I wanted to get that data. If you don't ever burn up a set of tires, you'll never know how fast you could have gone and still had tire at the end. So that was my strategy through a lot of the races, and sometimes it bit me, sometimes I died, but I felt like it worked out in a lot of them to where I had a good amount of pace.
And that's what's great about um, our series sponsors for next season, Team Conti, and the amount of information stuff that they provide, the setups they provide. If anyone is out there that has these issues, that are trying to figure it out, maybe they need some help, the Team Conti Discord channel is a great source of information. They are the most helpful racers that I have seen available. If you have questions, Mr. Conti is always available for them. Any of his ambassadors are always active in their channels, and they are here to help you um, get better and to get that I rating up and to get those wins. They love to see Team Conti wins. So, shameless plug right there for our sponsors
Notice
next
me,
season.
Michael Conti.
Yes, that was hilarious last
Sponsor me,
season. Like,
please.
please sponsor me, my country. Oh, that was hilarious.
Well, I think Nathaniel interviewed me at Milwaukee and said maybe if you get a few more of these interviews, Michael Conti will finally sponsor you. And I was like, I think I got to win some cup ones before he'll consider it.
Yeah, well, maybe not this year. Maybe you just need to
I had a
join
few
those
close
5
runs.
Xfinity races and win those Xfinity races. And
I don't think I'm gonna win an Xfinity race. I'm gonna stick to Cup.
speaking of
I
that,
had a,
do you plan on going down at all next
I
season
will.
to race in any Xfinity? Do you have any races that you're eyeing in particular?
Um, Chicago. I'm definitely gonna do that just because it's the more you can learn about the bumps, the better, and then you can get a better idea of breaking points and shifting areas, and just I want to learn that track. I'll probably do a couple of the road courses, and then I don't know. I might mix it up on some short tracks. It's hard to say what I'm gonna do with that. It's just I'm gonna try and use that as kind of a learning tool for Cup, so I can make sure that I'm not gonna make any major mistakes and take out Cody Leach on the opening lap.
Hey, I'm cool with that too. Whatever you want,
Yeah.
boo. You do
That's
you.
crazy.
Well, my
I know
God, I
you
just
cut
didn't
out.
see you. You
Eh,
came out.
you're cutting out there, Cody. Try again.
Yeah, I can't
Maybe
hear you.
fourth. I think you were at third, right? You got a third. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, I said that one hurt me because I remember home race. I think I was in fourth. Didn't expect to get that
Um,
spot, and I think you were in third, right?
I started fifth, and you were on the outside lane, I think, because I shot through the middle of sixth and third, and I hit you. I think. I can't. It's so long ago. I can't remember how it happened. I just remember hitting the brakes, locking up instantly, and
Yeah.
hitting you, and causing a whole mess.
Oh yeah. Well, I seen everybody kind of coming in. I'm like, okay, perfect. And I was like, oh,
Yeah, I was. You were
no.
unfortunately the. I couldn't. I
But that
was
was
like,
fun.
if.
I mean, I had a good. I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a fun track. I'm excited to go back and not make the same mistake. Knock on wood.
So, looking forward to 2025. Is there a race that you have your eye on that you're like, you know what, I have it. I understand that track. I understand my tires at that track. I understand what I have to do, and like that is the
Darlington.
best chance that I can win. Do you have that track
Darlington,
picked out?
100%.
The Monster.
I I'm still upset about losing the second race there. I was I felt so strong, even against that fresh wave of drivers that we got that were really quick. I felt so fast, and I threw it away in the third stage when I got loose and hit the wall, and I just had to limp it home. And that one stung. That was the first time where I really felt like I had a shot at a win.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I was felt good that race. Long race. That was our crown jewel race. We ran how many laps? I don't know.
Uh, uh,
400,
I can't remember.
367 maybe.
It was
It was a
I
lot.
think yeah, it's a silly number at Darlington. It's like 365, 366, 367 like you're saying.
It, it was a
Um
long race.
I feel like all
That's
the
where it
crown
was.
jewels I did pretty well. I'm because Charlotte for the 600 was my third race that I ever did in the league, and that race I got a top 10. Indy I did really good until Michael Deach gave me a hand there finding the turn two wall, and then Darlington went really good until I messed myself up, but still got a top 10. I don't think I attempted. I didn't do Daytona, so that was all the crown jewels that I tried, and I did pretty well. I feel.
All right, right on, right on.
I don't know what you guys feel your best races were, best
Man,
tracks.
That's
Atlanta,
tough.
from Atlanta, Talladega, Texas, Daytona, um, Charlotte.
Well, you almost won the second Daytona race, didn't you?
Almost won the second Talladega race. Almost won the second Atlanta race.
That was a wild finish.
Uh,
Yeah, that one was
yeah,
close. I couldn't believe that.
yeah,
Which that?
Wish I could
yeah.
have seen
So
it, but I was so
Who was
far
that?
back with
Who was that? Who
damage.
got you by the rear fender? Was it Saunders?
Yeah,
I
Saunders
forget
got
who.
him.
Honestly, I believe so. I believe it was Saunders, but you know, and like I said, any track before road course, I seem to do pretty well at any track before road course.
Track before road course. You gotta get those points while you can, right?
Exactly.
We
But I
go to
do
a road
decent at
course
the
meet.
road course. But then, like I said, it's timing. It's always been timing. Something is sparked off that needed my immediate attention.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
So I'm hoping this next year I got a lot less of that. That'll be
Where did the
great.
schedule get put in the server? I don't see it anymore.
Oh, there's some rearranging going around in the server.
Yeah, it's
Corey's gonna have
gone.
some big news announcing here in the future, with the server and how Crown Jewel is going to be expanding. So,
Oh,
we'll have some big news coming up for that. Um,
Corey's making it difficult for the
yeah,
non-technically abled. I don't know. I don't know where the schedule went, but I know there was a road course because Coda comes up really quick. Like it's like the
yeah,
fifth or sixth race.
it's a third race, I do
Is it the
believe.
third one?
Well,
Ooh,
if you don't count the clash or whatever in the duels and stuff.
I thought it. I
Um,
thought it was a little later. Ooh,
I don't think
that's
it's
a
third.
crazy start to the season. Darlington, or sorry, not Darlington.
Who?
Daytona, Atlanta, Coda, right?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a tough start to a season. Two super speedways on a road course. Like if you're a mile and a half kind of guy, you're gonna be crying after three
Hmm.
weeks of anarchy.
He must have removed it out of there. I don't see it either, or even all the channels. You
Yeah,
Sounds
think
like
you've
it's
a
got all
build
bad?
the.
to it.
You think it's bad? Get your admin privileges here, and then you have like there's 100 channels
I
in the
tried.
front
I
now.
almost
I
won.
know. Let's talk about that. That's good. That's a good topic.
Good fight.
Let's
Good
go
fight.
back.
Good fight.
Let's
Fair
go
fight.
back to that was against you were trying to go for community outreach director, which Mr.
Yes,
Cody
sir.
Leach retained. Um,
Yeah, it was a
Four
close
more
fight.
years. 4 more years.
6 more
4 more
months.
years. I thought it
Let's
was only a couple months.
It's 6 more months.
Yeah.
Right now we're like at 5 already. So
Yeah, you better
I'm not 100% sure on that. I think
count your
I think we
days,
might be
Mr.
early.
Leach.
Oh, I'm shaking in
So
my boots.
this is good that you're both here. Since we didn't get to have the debate, we can kind of go roll into this a little bit of what were you wanting to do by becoming the community outreach director here for the server? What were your plans?
I mean, my main thing was just I really like it when the drivers have a lot of control and a lot of choice over what happens. And I wanted to try and strengthen that even more to where, we're just constantly getting a lot of opinions, which we're very good at. I do really enjoy the way that you guys conduct things with how you're always asking what the owners think and what we want to see. Like, for example, the Clash, we didn't have Bowman Gray, so we were trying to find an alternative, and you let us vote on what we wanted that track to be. And I just wanted to keep that going and try and encourage that and maybe find other ways of finding more drivers. I mean, I think me and Cody had very similar views on how we were going to go about it.
Yeah, Cody, you got any response to that or? And he's gone. All right. Anywho, are you gonna?
Oh, sorry. I don't know what's going on with my Discord lately.
All right. Anywho,
Like to
Cody
be
would try
trying.
to figure that
Can you
out.
guys hear me?
No, we can't.
Yeah, yeah, no, we can.
I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
it's all good.
Do you plan on running again here in 6 months, trying again, or Stewart?
Um, I don't know. I think I'll probably give it a shot, but I kind of like not being an admin anymore. I've been slowly, now that I have a team to obsess over, I don't have to obsess over a league.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying, getting the new number fonts arranged, getting everybody new schemes for Daytona, trying to find drivers and get everything just the way I want it to be. I've been enjoying that, so maybe I'll run, maybe I won't run. I mean, Cody does a good job regardless, so even if I did run, we'd be in good hands either way.
I appreciate that. I mean, I feel like I tend to lean more towards opening up the floodgates, trying to get as many people in here as possible. Um, um, maybe sometimes I feel like I probably shouldn't feel that way, but that everybody has a voice already enough, you know? Like, especially with tickets, we may make a ruling, admin wise, we may make a ruling on something, but there's nothing to say to be like, hey, I want to be judged against my peers.
Yeah,
So
those
like,
those are exciting.
it's
Oh
not
yeah.
like our words final here. So which is kind of cool. I do like that. And the team owners having so much control is huge. I'm glad Corey did that. Like you said, just giving the team
Hmm.
owners control in the good and the bad. Like if your driver's messing up, jacking around, you got a big responsibility of, hey, you get them out of here, or there's repercussions on that. But it also gives the opportunity for team owners to band together and kind of make that union of like, hey, this is what we don't like. We would like you guys to change this or fix this
100%.
amendment. So, um, like I said, my fake 4 years or whatever, I'll keep trying to bring as many people in, build up the lower ranks. I mean, it would be beautiful to have. I mean, it seems like our top two series are going to be packed out. Trucks is probably going to be busting at the seams here too when the season starts. But to have that same 20, 30 car field for ARCA would be huge. Just and I know a lot of us have our friends on the team, but like some teams aren't as tight knit as maybe say my as WRL open up as much
Cutting out again, Cody.
movement time. Oh, sorry about that. I was saying there's teams that are looking for talent and um, having that full ARCA series will really show it off, especially guys who may not. I mean, even if you do have a Cup Series license, there's not room. So you got to
Mhm.
grind your way through the ARCA season next year, and there may be
Yeah, got to work your way up from the bottom
our team.
sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, and that's beautiful. Sometimes I feel like I was
I wish I knew what you felt,
in
but
ARCA.
still
Kind of
cutting
it.
out.
I'm sorry.
You're
I'm
fine.
sorry. I'm
You're
done.
fine.
I'll
All right. Well, we're coming up on an hour here. Any shout outs you want to give, Stewart, to team members, or how did you even come into the ownership role here with the Uberman? Anyways, let's hear that story real quick.
All right. So it started with Vince's departure.
Yeah.
When he announced that he was leaving, it kind of it shifted the entire team on how 2025 was going to be because Justin had already announced that he wanted to go down to Xfinity for 2025. He didn't want to run Cup anymore. I was heavily considering going into Xfinity, and I was pretty much like, yeah, I'm going to do Xfinity. I don't want to do Cup. And then Vince left, and I was like, oh, that's not good. Well, that means we have one Cup guy now. We have one. So I was like, okay, fine. We're going to change this up. So I was like, okay, I'll be a Cup. I'll go back to Cup. And I offered Sly if he wanted, go 50-50 on this because we realized how expensive things were going to get with the franchise system and the being open setup with those costs and everything. I was like, let's do this together. We can work through this and we can become an even better team if we just work out some of the kinks. And we went back and forth a bit on that, and it ended up working out. And then we just kept moving on until eventually we changed the team name and we ended up where we are.
Basically had full control from what I could see.
No. I wouldn't call it full control. I just I enjoy doing a lot of the things, and I asked Caleb if he wants any input, and he's kind of like, no, I like it.
Dude,
He
that's
liked the number fonts. I suggested that. He's like, hell yeah. I got him a paint scheme made. He's happy with that. He's been happy with everything we've been doing. I think the only thing we were disagreeing on was the rebrand. We couldn't pick a name. We spent weeks trying to figure out what to call the team because he really wanted to keep Uber, and I was like, I'm fine with that, but you won't get your merch if you don't change it
yeah,
because
that was a tough call. I know.
apparently there's an real Uber Motorsports, not even just, the copyright issue with using Uber. There's
Mm-hmm.
a copyrightable Uber Motorsports out there. So there was the double whammy of copyright there. So it's like, let's change it to something else. And we tried a couple things, and then we eventually ended up back on my original suggestion, which was Tipton Harding Motorsports. And we had the logo whipped up and the next day, and here we are with
Yeah.
the beautiful flaming logo. I love that logo.
I thought
Came out
mine was better
so
with
good.
the flying cat on it, to be honest, but
No, no, no. You get that cat out of here.
I thought it was awesome. I
What's
was
wrong
like,
with the cat?
that's right up Caleb's alleyway too.
Oh,
Just like,
I'm not into the cat. It was too silly for me. I really like the way that the rebrand looks with the spiked numbers, the orange and red color scheme. It ties together a lot of different things that are important to me about my three generations of racing.
yeah,
Hmm.
It ties a lot of different elements of that, like the little checkered box on the bottom. That's a goes back to a logo that we have for one of our businesses. Just all of it works together in a really nice way that I enjoy.
yeah.
That's what's up.
You seem to have a big thing for flames,
Yeah, yeah, I
which
love my flames.
which I thought flames were something like Joe Wright had on his car in high school. The
No,
Ford Model
I've
T. But I mean,
never been a flame guy. I've never been a flame guy. Matt, on the other hand,
Maybe it would make you faster, Joe. You should try it.
no, 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 not one to jump on random trends like that. I leave the flames to everybody who
Uh,
rock them
you're not
faithfully.
you're not one to jump on the podium either, so maybe it's time for
That's
some change.
crazy, considering that I have like four
oh
of
my
them in this
goodness.
league.
Four of them.
Maybe,
I see a
I
story
maybe like
coming up
six.
here in sometime this season. I see a story right here. The storyline starting to write itself already. So
Well, it's either gonna be
I
that
love it.
Joe Wright proves me dead wrong, or that he kills me at Daytona, or that I wax him. I don't know which one
Then
it'll
we'll
be.
see.
Maybe
We'll
he
see
kills
how it
me.
goes.
Maybe he proves me completely wrong, and I look like an utter fool. We'll find out. You
No,
know.
because I mean, I can honestly say there's probably two people in the league that can count on that. They really can't even count. Actually, they can probably point to one instance where they got into it with me, and it was like my fault, and it wasn't blatantly like something
I,
heinous. You know what I mean? It was a legit accident, net code or something
yeah.
like that.
I don't
Corey.
think I've tangled with you yet. I don't think I've. I don't think
Mm-mm,
we've hit each other.
Not yet.
mm-mm.
Long season
Not
though.
yet. Not
Long
yet.
season coming our way.
I mean, I
I'm
try
trying to
to
stay
be.
out the way. I'm trying to stay out the way this season.
Yeah.
I got caught up in too much crap last year.
I never try to make lots of contact. I always like, clean passes, not using the bumper to make something happen. I try to be pretty clean. It's more. What do you? What was that?
I think he's just cutting in and out. No big deal
Oh,
there.
Yeah, just normal cutting in and out,
yeah,
talking about
definitely.
myself, maybe a little bit of you, but just mainly myself there.
I
Oh
mean,
Lord.
the key word there is try. Some mistakes happen. I definitely messed up quite a few times trying to figure out this car. Maybe I'll buy a new body for Cody's car.
We appreciate that the WRL accounts and financing office. They definitely appreciate
Oh
that.
yeah, we'll take whatever we can get.
Yeah. I did really enjoy racing you. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah,
I
you
do
as well. I
appreciate you
enjoyed it. It
being here.
was fun.
So do you have any last minute shout outs you want before we cut this podcast?
All my drivers. Caleb, let's see. Caleb, Hayden, God, I'm forgetting him. Pete, Justin, Zach, and our lovely painter, Owltone Designs. If you need a decently priced paint scheme that looks twice as good as it's worth, go hit him up. He's currently slaving away to make the paint schemes for the Daytona 500.
Yeah, if he's interested in sponsoring the Crown Jewel Cup Series this year, you should have
He
him hit
has no
us up.
money.
So
He has no money.
Yeah,
I
no
am.
money.
If he
you should pay the
sponsored,
man.
if I do pay the man, he has bills. If I considered sponsoring a race for him, in this league, but uh,
That'd be
the
that'd be good
Canadian
to hear.
dollar's pretty bad right now. You know,
Yeah.
anything I gotta buy is like horrible.
Steve, find some
Like,
Well,
gold. You'll be set.
sleeper pick Cameron Romano to make a deep playoff run. Calling it
yeah,
now.
what series is he running?
He's gonna be in
Uh,
the Team Conti
the
Dash
Dash series.
series.
Oh, um,
Deep
my
playoff
money's on
run.
him being upside down in more races than he's right side up. But yeah, let's hope for a
Fair,
deep playoff run. I was sad.
fair.
I felt bad that I wrecked him in his last race. I
Yeah.
felt
Yeah,
bad
I
about
mean
that.
that was very indicative of his season too. That was
Somebody's
very
got to
indicative
flip.
of his
I
season.
mean,
Can't just be
I
him.
didn't end his day. I scratched his door on lap 4, but I felt bad about
Uh-huh.
it.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah, his he
Thanks
he
for
had
the
a
beat.
rough season. I felt bad.
Yeah.
I was
Thanks for the
sad to
ugly
see him
win.
go.
I think he'll be back though.
Hopefully, I want him back. I'd like
I'm
to pass him.
I'm sure he'll be back, and we will be back hopefully next week with another episode um, here in the Moving Chicanes podcast for episode 3. Don't quote me on that. Schedules are with everyone still pretty wild. Hopefully, here after the holidays, everything starts to kind of get back in a routine, and we bring you
Who's
some
your next
more.
guest?
I don't even know. I mean, probably.
Are you
I
guys
know
just
we.
going through the champions? Did Saunders say no, and that's why I got picked?
Damn.
I mean, I'm not going to reveal that source, but I know we do still have to talk to Mr. Wolf, and hopefully Mr. Saunders joins us.
I'd
Hopefully
bet money that Corey
we have to
asked
keep
him, and he
those
said
going.
no, and that's why I'm here.
We'll just make them, but I can't speak.
We'll
I
make
can't
him.
speak
I
for
don't think
Corey, but
I don't think you can make that man do anything. He's a mind of his own.
we'll just like get him in the garage, and we won't even tell him we're streaming it, and then we'll just start talking to him. So trick him up there a bit.
Pass.
But I hope this wasn't too painful for everyone to listen to. First time I've ever done a podcast. I didn't even know if this was going to stream, and then it ended up working. So kind of a
I
last
think
minute
other
thing
than a
for me
few of those
tonight.
silent
So
moments, it was pretty good.
yep,
Those
Hey.
there's a couple bad
that
silences.
stinking mute button. It cost me tonight. So hopefully Corey doesn't fire me, and I keep my position here with the organization. And
Oh, Corey, if you get rid of him, you got my number.
yeah.
Tragic.
Anywho, don't listen to that. But make sure you guys check out the merch stores. If you're in the server, Crown Jewel Discord server, if you go to the links page, it has all the website URLs to get you to each team store page. We are currently finishing up getting some of the final teams in. I know I have to get your guys' team, Stewart, on there now with the rebranding, and also working on a shirt for you, recognizing your championship last season. So those two
Great,
should
you
be
guys are
coming to
gonna
the
take
stores
even more of my
soon.
money.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I
When
make
do I get my trophy?
I
Don't I
make
get a
them
little trophy?
shirts. Um, you'll have to talk to Crown Jewel officials about that. I can't answer
I
that for
I
you.
heard
So
I got a trophy, but I've only heard that once and never was
you
told about it again.
you
So
might
I'm curious.
you might.
I hope I do. I would love to have a little trophy. It's been a
You're
while.
supposed to get some
Play your
Bob
cards right.
Henry's merch. Did you get it? Did you happen to get that or no?
Gordon lives near me, near the track I raced at, so he's probably gonna bring that to me during the season. I'll get a little surprise visit from the warden.
Oh, the Warden of the North. All right.
I might get some barbecue sauce and a T-shirt and a hat, apparently, but we'll
Yeah,
see.
that's. I was like, I told him you won, so I was expecting you to get that. So,
Oh
um,
yeah, I told him because I've been telling him all season that I want my hat. That was
uh,
the only reason I ran was I wanted my damn hat.
the trophies we'll have to see. If you don't get a trophy, I'll buy you the shirt, your own shirt yourself, and I'll send it to you. So
Perfect, beautiful. Thank you.
count me in on that. All right. So,
Alrighty,
all right. Thanks for coming out and speaking with us tonight, and good luck next season.
Not a problem.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Moving Chicane podcast signing off.
Laters.
Have a good night.